Hey everybody, Kenny here. So in this series, I'm going to be doing something kind of experimental. For the first entry, I'm going to be playing through the entirety of the game Ruined King, a League of Legends story. And the way I'm going to be doing this is that every Friday, I'm going to be posting the full gameplay session that I did for that week. And then Monday through Thursday, I'm going to be posting videos that came from that session, but with some editing to kind of deep dive into the things that I did during that session. I don't want to say clips, but, kind of using the content I already made to kind of allow me to quickly put together a week's worth of content that I feel may have some value. And then based on how this experiment turns out, I may continue to do this month after month, or I may try something new if it seems like these kind of deep dives don't really work for the way I play games. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to include this little intro on the entire first week's set of videos, and then starting next week, it'll just be whatever the intro for that particular video is at the start. So now that the disclaimer's out of the way, let's get to the video. Hey everybody, Kenny here. This video I just want to do a quick overview of my first few hours of the game Ruined King, a League of Legends story. I'm going to be doing one of these each week as my impression of the game evolves, I guess, so that anyone watching can kind of get a feel for what kind of experience you can expect from the start of the game all the way till its conclusion. So from the start, the obvious main positive that can be said is that obviously this is a visually stunning game. It is designed by Joe Madureira, one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. All of the character models and animations are done in conjunction with a team that he's worked with since the Darksiders games. So aesthetically, this is a gorgeous game. There's no more that needs to be said about it. You can see it. These guys know what they're doing when it comes to making a AA game look great. In terms of combat, we get very much the same experience that we got in Battle Chasers Night War, with some minor changes that add some personality to the whole affair, making things feel distinct from what they were in Battle Chasers, while still familiar, kind of like how each iteration of the Final Fantasy franchise felt familiar but distinct from each other. When it comes to exploration, they've done essentially as good a job as they did with Battle Chasers Night War, though with seemingly less variation on the types of events available to you. And maybe this will change as the game goes on, but early on, I didn't notice, like, in Battle Chasers, there were like little events where you'd be running through a dungeon and you'd see like a thing on the floor and you'd go over to examine it. And then you'd realize that, oh, this is kind of like a little mini game kind of thing, but not in like the traditional sense. It'd be like, like they were very clever in how they kind of combined game exploration with asset animation. So you would actually need to pay attention to what you were looking at in order to do certain things. But in this one, doesn't seem like they did anything like that, not that I've seen so far. I thought maybe early on there was something, but it turned out it was just a game asset that was meant to look nice, and that's all it was. But like I said, I'm still only in the first few hours, so maybe as the game goes, I'll see more interesting stuff that I can report back on. So far, my biggest issue with this game is while, when it comes to like the gearing and like that, it's fine. Like, it's not really any kind of improvement over what they did with Battle Chasers. It's, like you have the enchantment system back, and you have the fishing, and you have, what have you. And that's fine. Like I don't see any issues with that moving forward. But what I do have a big gripe with is that for some reason they decided to kind of go, I don't even know what's the right term to use, but it's like they decided they didn't want players to have any agency with how the characters in this game were built. And I don't know why that is. Like you can't see at what level abilities unlock. You can't see at what level the ability upgrades unlock. You can't see what the next abilities or ability upgrades are going to be. You can't see what any of the ultimates are going to be. You don't have any hints as to what unlocks the ultimates. Like everything is very obfuscated, and I don't understand why that is. Because in Battle Chasers, they didn't obfuscate that stuff, and I don't think anyone complained about that. So it doesn't make sense to me why they would decide that, oh, well, this was a part of the game that no one said was bad at all, so let's just break it for no reason. You know, it doesn't make sense. I take great insult to that just because this is what I'm about. Character progression systems are the only thing I care about in my RPGs. And if you do anything to give me less control over that, then you've already put a very strong red mark in my ledger for what your game is to me. Now the other stuff, you know, like I said, visually, battle system wise, is fine. You know, I enjoy those things, but you know, but I weigh progression systems above everything in an RPG. Your story means nothing to me if I don't like the way your characters level up. I have stopped playing games because of these systems being too light and the story being too heavy, you know? Like if it's a very heavy story that requires a lot of investment from me just to understand what's going on, when I don't have any means of getting agency in how I'm playing the game based on how I progress the characters, then you've lost me. I don't have any reason to keep playing your game. I don't, like in this case, like these are the types, like anything that's in like the JRPG style of turn-based RPG, like to me is what I consider RPG popcorn. So it's not like this is a huge issue, since this isn't the type of game that's going to take you 1,000 hours to do everything, you know, and run through a bunch of times to make sure you found all the different secrets and everything. This isn't that kind of game. So like I said, you know, like this is why I'm going to be putting out an impressions video every week as I go, as you know, as my impression changes, because I know that, you know, as these things do unlock and I get access to the ultimates and to the different tiers of upgrades, and I've played around with whatever enchanting is available to me, however that, you know, whether or not like it is that something happens that allows us to be able to farm for materials or anything like that. However it goes, like, you know, like I know my impression will change as it goes. But for now, the most negative thing I can say is the fact that I don't have access to these things right now. I don't like that I don't have access to them right now. And I want them from the get-go. I don't like not like the character Sarah Fortune. I was convinced that she wasn't even a real party member because you didn't have access to any of the game menus, and there wasn't a reason you didn't have access to any of the game menus. You didn't have access to equipment screen, the ability screen. All of these things like unlock little by little as you're playing, but nothing's giving you a reason why they're unlocking little by little. It's like they're unlocking them, like doing like little breadcrumb things to kind of like ease you into the game without doing the proper game design thing, where the reason that they're doing that is because it fits in some way. Like, oh, I found this wall and I'm not sure what to do. Oh no, what's this thing? This thing popped out and now I killed it and I leveled up. And now because I leveled up, I unlocked this dungeon ability that makes it that I can knock down this wall. You know, like that's how you breadcrumb in game design. What they did here, where it's just, oh, you leveled up, so now you have access to the ability upgrade system, but you didn't have access to it the first time you leveled up. And we didn't really give you a reason why we didn't give you that when you first leveled up. And we didn't give you a reason why you didn't have access to the equipment system when you were playing as Miss Fortune. And we didn't give you a reason why you couldn't do anything other than save or check the game options while you were playing as that character. You know, it's very weird pacing wise. So like at least for this first 2 hours, I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if like maybe they were rushed in getting the game done, so certain things they had to put as like back burner items, and the thing that suffered for it was just the player onboarding, because because this is bad onboarding. It really is. Like like, oh, so you go into battle, tutorial dialogue, and nothing that makes that mesh with anything else that's going on. It's just, and then mind you, like that's standard for like JRPG type RPGs, but I don't see how that's helpful to someone who doesn't have experience playing games. And like for someone like me who has played a ton of RPGs, I'm able to see those things and go, okay, so I understand that you mean this, but I mean, like, if someone who's only played Super Mario Brothers, are they going to know that's what you mean? Yeah. But like I said, like I'm hoping that as I go, my impressions improve. But for now, like I'm positive on certain things, negative on other things, and my negatives outweigh the positives because, like I said, to me it's all about the progression systems. And the other stuff means much less. Like the writing's good. Like I like the writing. The voice acting's great. They even got Liam O'Brien to do a small part pretty early on. It's pretty enjoyable. But yeah, so if you're planning on getting this game, just know initial impressions can definitely vary depending on what you weigh heavily on for your RPG experiences. Like if you're a big story person and you don't much care about combat or progression systems, then maybe nothing I've said would matter for you. Like if you're someone who's all about the gear, then that's something that you'll probably like the way that that's handled. Yeah, but like everyone has like different preferences, but for me, it definitely rubbed me the wrong way. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this early impressions video. Thanks to anyone who stopped by and took a look. If you enjoyed this video, appreciate doing all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.